I've been here for 4 years now, so I moved here in 2017, and it's now 2021. 1, 2, 3, 4. Quick maths. Well, I love traveling, so that's what brought me to Hong Kong. So I lived in Thailand for a bit where I was teaching, and then I went back to the UK and did my teacher training. And then all I knew is that I wanted to keep traveling for a bit. So I just started looking for jobs anywhere and everywhere. So actually Hong Kong was never on my list. I wasn't like, oh, I want to move to Hong Kong. I actually knew nothing about it. But I'm kind of one of those things, if the opportunity comes up, then take it. So I was just planning one of my lessons and was on The Guardian. And then I just kept going back to this page, and then I just saw the job advertisement for a teaching job in Hong Kong. So decided to apply for it and then got the job. So then 5 weeks after I graduated my teacher training, I moved to Hong Kong. And yeah, so that's what made me move to Hong Kong. My first impression of Hong Kong was I loved it. So I'm a city girl, so I need to be in the city. So obviously fulfilled that need. But then you had the mountains where you could get away from it, and the beaches. And it's quite small, so I was like, it's amazing. You have everything you want. You got the city, the beaches, the mountains for hiking. So within my first week, I was like, I can definitely see myself staying here for 2 years. And then 4 years on, I'm still here. Well, I think it's changed me in a way where now I'm just very comfortable in my own company. Whereas before, I would just always be around people all the time. And then when I first came here and had no social network and had to start from scratch, and I'd be like, oh my God, why don't I have any friends who can I go and see? But then I just became very comfortable with my own thoughts, I think, and just like a lot of personal development, and actually, I suppose you just get to know yourself a lot better. And I think it just shows you that you are just capable of like doing it on your own and progressing in that way. Because when you emigrate, it's a completely different experience to traveling, right? Because traveling, you're just going everywhere, meeting new people in hostels. But when you emigrate, you're literally in a city and you have to like rebuild your social network, right, from scratch. So that's quite a, I think, big challenge that I think I did quite well in. Now 4 years on, I'm like quite happy with my social network in my life, so that's good. And then yeah, just being open, so meeting lots of new people just opens you up to a lot of new experiences. So I think, you are the average of the 5 people closest to you. So meeting new people, and for example, I met a lot of people that were into health and fitness. So even though I was already into health quite a lot, I didn't really do like the exercise side of it. When then I met people that were very into it and joined the gym with them, went a lot. And now it's definitely something that's part of my identity, like someone who is back into sports and exercise, and now it's definitely something I'm addicted to. If I miss a few days at the gym, I'm like, I need to go. Start getting antsy. So it definitely got me more into sports and fitness and new hobbies and things like that. So I think it's an ever continuing journey, and it's definitely changed me as a person, but I like it, I think, for the better. I definitely read a lot in Hong Kong and expanded things that I know, and kind of like the more you learn, the more you know that you don't know. So I think that is becoming like ever prevalent to me. And like I said, I feel like I've done a lot of personal development, and then I look back a few years and I think like, I thought I knew quite a lot then. Then you learn more, and then you're like, God, I was actually quite ignorant. So then I think, yeah, it's just a triumph for me is just continuing to develop, and knowing that, there is no end point, so just to keep going. And there's always more to learn, and you can learn from anyone and anything. So I think it's like good not to judge people, and that's something that I'm learning more and more. And it's something you could just like learn from everybody, right? So even the people that you come across, and maybe they're not the best person to be in your life, sometimes they're the person that you can learn the most from. So I think there's been a few instances like that I've had in Hong Kong. But I think it's just learning that everything is just actually a learning opportunity. So I think, trying to find like what is the purpose in this experience. So I think that's something that I've learned in Hong Kong. I think a good point is just to always stick to your values, right? So I think that's what I've learned in Hong Kong, because you're constantly like meeting new people and like doing this and that. So instead of adapting to other people, you still got to just hold on to like your beliefs and your values rather than trying to fit in. That's why I don't. Because I'm like, you do you, babe, I'll do me. So I think that's quite a good thing to do, because it's just like everyone has their own beliefs and values. So let them do their thing and not judge what makes them happy, and you just do you. Well, I think there will be a point, I think for everybody, maybe not, but I think there will be a point where you have to say that, okay, there needs to be a next step. So I think obviously at some point I'll get to that point, and I'm not sure where it is, but I'm quite open. It might be after PR. I was going to say might be tomorrow, but it might be after PR, it might be longer than after PR. But I don't know, I always say that with places, for me, when it has nothing more to offer me, then I'll leave. So with Cardiff, where I'm from, or mainly grew up in, I felt like it had nothing else to offer me. Like I kind of knew everyone, I did everything, and it was just repetitive. So I don't really like doing the same thing. So as long as there are new things to learn or new things to do, then I'm happy to stay. So I think that's also why I've been in Hong Kong for so long, right? Because I've been here for 4 years and I'm still going to I'm like, oh, I've never been here before. I had no idea that was there. So it still has that excitement for me. So I'm not really getting bored. But then, so like I think at the point where I'm like, okay, I've done everything, it has nothing else to offer, then that will be the point for me where I feel like I need to go. I think I would still say the same thing that I did say to myself when I came to Hong Kong. Just, like be open to all new experiences. Just do as many different things as you can. Meet as many different people. I feel like I'm still the same person at the core, right? So I still said all those things to myself when I came here. And like I said, like traveling is like my one love. So like I was in my element. It wasn't something I was scared to do. I was excited to do it. So I think that's what I said to myself, and I'd still say the same thing. Just go for it. There's obviously going to be hard times, but no hard times last forever, right? So yeah, I think I'd still say the same thing. Like, there's always going to be peaks and troughs, and especially my first year in Hong Kong, I felt like was a roller coaster. Because like I said, you're trying to like build your social network and your life here. So obviously there's whole ups and downs of that, but it's still, I felt like that was a challenge, and I need to be challenged. So I think, just go for it, basically. I don't know if I'm articulating myself very well. I'm like, what is a triumph? I was like, okay. I've milked it for all it's worth. Am I talking too fast? I'm like, blah, blah, blah. Triumphs. I don't know anything about maths, but I became a maths coordinator. What does that mean?
Great answer.
Oh, thanks. Thanks, 10 points for me. Oh, teacher's pet.